Ladies, gentlemen, good afternoon. I think every one of you can agree with me when I say that we, youngsters, are our world's future. And as a youngster, I believe I can say this future is a bright one. Yet, I foresee some threats as well, some problems, originated in our own educational system. Allow me to explain. First, we must ask ourselves the question, what does society want from its graduates? What is needed on the job market and what should schools stimulate? Technology has revolutionized the face of many enterprises during the last decades. The internet, smartphones, and technology in general go hand in hand with industry. As a result of this, many people have become replaceable. Conveyor workers, people who work at statistic questionnaires. Even medical surgeries can be performed by an intelligent machine these days. And that's the curse of advancement. People are being replaced by machines. Research of ING Belgium has shown that 49% of our jobs are at risk. So we need people to become smarter than these computers. And to be that, there is one key word: creativity. The ability of applying all your skills to make yourself irreplaceable. Now, let us return to education. I do not think anyone will disagree when I say that schools should prepare their students for the world out there. Therefore, there should be a window on the future. But are they really that? When we take a look at the quick changes in the demands of employers on the job market, and we compare that with the rather conservative approach of our schools, it's not hard to state that many schools are a few decades behind. Many of my fellow students are not creative. And the fault, of course, lies with both parties. Teachers as well as students have their shortcomings. Many tests that are given by teachers only require studying by heart. And the answer is yes or no, right or wrong. Because all that matters in the end are the scores and the grades we get. There is no place for the development of creative and social skills, even though these are indispensable for a later career. There are, of course, other teachers as well. Teachers who don't mind to make an effort and give assignments that can put students on to do something creative. But all too often I see how students don't make this effort, how they choose the easiest way out by reproducing what has already been done before them. Just because they know they can fetch up their scores with tests where they only have to, again, study by heart. Now, isn't this wrong? Isn't this idea that scores and only scores determine our future something from the past? In this digitalized, technological world, we are aching for a personal relationship with genuine people. And yet, education chiefly ignores this. I believe that theory is just a base for the first grades. Later on, schools should fully invest in the development of creative and social skills, in everything that's needed for a successful career. And obtaining that is not hard. We can link the theory of the first grades to a more practical application later on. Low budget, and in some cases even with profit for the school. The proof for that comes from my own. As students economics, we have set up our own small business where we sold wine. We did our own books, advertisement and sales, and meanwhile we learned how to cooperate in a team. Now that's the kind of projects we need, but that can't succeed without a passionate teacher, which we had, and some motivated students, which of course we were. So my conclusion here is we do need a change in education, a change that provokes more creativity on our students. But I know that teachers as well as students will have to be prepared to make a greater effort than they do today. For I think this is the only way to respond to the mechanization of the world, the only way to prevent people from being substituted. Because only in being creative, you can truly become irreplaceable. Thank you.
Hannes, you talk about creativity, but do you honestly believe that reproducing is easier than creativity?
Excuse me?
Do you believe that reproducing facts is easier than creativity?
I certainly think so, because producing facts is just, well, it is studying by heart, in fact. It's just, you have to work on something for 1 or 3 hours, and after that you can just forget it. You only need it for the test in school. If you need to be creative, if you need to come up with something new, if you need to use the theory, the facts you have learned earlier in your education, well, you have to make a greater effort. You have to put a lot of thinking in that. You have to, well, get something out of yourself, something new. And that certainly is something very hard to do.
You said you wanted to get rid of these scores, this rigid system. But then how would you assess creativity? How do you determine if someone passes or fails for creativity?
Well, I don't want to get rid of the total system. I think the system of grading is okay, but it can't be just grading on the results. There should also be grading on the process towards the result. Grading on the attitude, the discipline that has been shown, the amount of effort that a student has put in a project, in something he created. If we can grade that, well, it's not just the result that counts, but it was also the effort and the discipline he has shown.
If people who choose not to be creative are seen as merely replaceable machines, are we still free to choose not to be creative?
Well, I just think everyone is in some way creative. I don't think you can just choose not to be creative. You will always have to come up with something new, have to adapt yourself to a new situation. People have always done that in the past and will always do that in the future. People will never be merely replaceable robots, machines. But of course, we have to stimulate this creative thinking, because if you only focus on the repetitive work, on the replaceable work, well, then you certainly have a problem.
What is your opinion on the idea that students would have the choice to leave school at an earlier age?
Well, I think that's a nice possibility. It has been shown that that could work, referring to Steve Jobs, to Bill Gates. They all left school and became rich and well-known. But we need to realize that doesn't work for everyone. So I think if you want to leave school on an early age, talking to you in particular, you are still at school, if you want to do that, you should have nice plans for the future. You should have an idea what to do in the future and how to become successful in the future. And that is, of course, something teachers should assist with as well.
Are we born creative, or can we also be made creative?
We are certainly born creative. We can also stimulate creativity, because not everyone will be able to find his own creativity, will be able to find his own talents to use them later in life. So in that way, it is important that education stimulates creativity and helps students to find where their talents lay and to help them find what to do in a later life.
What would the role of the parents be in the child's education?
The parents need to be very supportive. The role of a parent, I'm on that, so you know what to do right now. The role of a parent is to help students find what their talents are, to help them be creative, to stimulate creativity as well, but in a different way than schools. Because schools have an extra assignment. They also have to bring theory. They also have to bring a theoretical basis to build this practice on. An important role for parents in that way is to pass over their experience, their morals, their ethical lessons they have built up in life. That would be the role of the parents, and the role of the schools in that way is theoretical and assisting, helping. That sort of things.
Thank
you.
Thomas.